Well, good day, everybody. So it's Monday, the 28th of July here, and that means it's probably the 27th, Sunday night back in Europe for everyone over there. It's a little bit dark here this morning. It's quite surprising. It's overcast, and it'll probably burn off because they're forecasting a very nice Fijian day. But anyway, here we are, and things are settling down in the fleet. I was quite surprised at some of the things they were saying after they sort of settled in that night. Here's me saying on the tracker update, they're having a pretty good ride. The forecast is showing waves of about 1.5 meters or something, but everyone was then saying that it was quite an unsettling night. It must have been a confused sea. It wasn't a big sea, but it was a bit confused, so everyone's bouncing around. Anyway, I'll wait until a few people come up. So the objective now for these tracker updates, as you know, we'll guarantee at least one a week every Friday, but I'll probably be doing as previous. If I can, we'll do a tracker update every day, wherever we are, if we can. And on that basis, I'm going to try, while we're in Fiji area or in the Pacific, and try be here at 8 o'clock every morning, which is our time. And that will mean that people that want to target it and can get here live, we'll try to be as close as we can, somewhere between sort of 8 and 5 past or 10 past 8 usually. I can make it as long as there's no glitches, because sometimes when we set this up, some of the different things that have got to be established when the whole program opens isn't there. And I can sort of know what's going on, but Jane is the one that plugs the holes and gets it all back up again. So that's the plan. So you can, those that want to follow this tracker, it'll usually be between 8 and 5, 10 past 8 in the mornings. So that's pretty straightforward. I was gonna do a dedicated live. Oh, thanks, Rathlin. I'm going to do a dedicated live here and go through the course. I may still do that, but for now, I'm just going to talk about their next serious navigation challenge, which is going through the Great Barrier Reef, entering the reef and heading up towards Thursday Island or Darwin, depending on where they're going. So I'll talk about that in a minute after the tracker and just show you some of the challenges, talk about the way you get through the reef. I've spent a lot of time up in the reef, but not for the past 20 years. I couldn't believe it. I was speaking to Graham Cox, just before he left. He's now back in Queensland, and he is, it was great to see him. I hadn't seen him physically for, probably, 12, 15 years or something. But we were talking about our experiences up in the Barrier Reef, because I spent years up there, years and years. But then I realised, jeepers, because I was thinking, I'd love to go back. I have to go back there. But it was a long time ago. Anyway, I'm looking as if I'm all over the place here. It's because it's dark and I've got the chart light on, the chart light that you normally look at the chart, sitting at the chart table, so I probably look a bit weird. Anyway, let's get onto the tracker and see what's going on. So here we go. You've got the tracker there. Now I've got the tracker here. All is good. You can see them roaring away up there. Oops, we've gone too big on that. Just have a quick look. Kerry's gone way north. Christian's not happy with settling into his boat at the moment. He's absolutely not in the groove. He's looking for the handbrake so he can pull the handbrake off. He's got a few things. We'll talk about that when it comes through. You can see the relative position to Fiji and Vuda Marina here. They've all pretty much taken the same course out and having a reasonably good ride. Where you see the yellow patches, that's sort of winds of around 20, 25, maybe even gusting a little bit higher. So very clearly looks like there's some breeze coming, but there's not much up front. And we'll have a look at the weather in a minute, but this may just die as it goes across. So they've got a bit of a boost. They should all be enjoying the ride. And even though they've had some challenges, I think they've got to be enjoying the conditions. It could be a lot worse getting out of there. Anyway, let's just look at the sea state here for now. Yeah, it still is bordering on up to 2 meters, just a little bit over. It's got a bit of a pinkish tinge there. So yes, that breeze now, they're out of the lee of the islands here. It's a benign thing, it's not like a normal lee. It's just that all the ocean stuff sort of tends to be a little bit protected from that landmass, There's still a growing sea here, but hopefully it won't follow them. We'll do the weather in detail when we push through the next one. So for now, we will kick this up a bit and have a good look. We'll start down. Is Kerry still there? Yep, everyone's there. That's pretty cool. Oh, jeepers, it bounces. Here we go. I'll have to come up here to get Christian. So Christian might be tail end Charlie, 112 mile day, so that's pretty respectable, 4.6 knots. What he was talking about was, if you saw his little video clip, and I should bring up, you probably saw Jane's first daily video update. What we're going to do is, as the entrants are pulling in their daily updates with video clips and so on, Jane will put them all into one at the end of the day. So if you're in Europe, end of the day, check it out, and you've got them all in one spot. In the meantime, you can like all their individual pages and get them as they happen. So, Christian wasn't happy. He just didn't feel right the way he's loaded the boat and all that sort of stuff. So he's going to have a rethink on that. He said the boat was handled completely differently, and he'll probably do that even today. So we're still in a similar day-night day. So the sun's up now. If they've got clear skies and having a good time. So 112 mile day, not too bad. You'll see the distance to the finish on all of them now has been corrected. So it's got just a little bit, 9,266 miles to Cape Town. So just stand by. Other people living on the boat, got to turn the water on. Come on. Okay, so there's Christian. Gary didn't quite make it up front with Renault. He's been a while since he's been racing with the fleet. Still doing okay, 3.8 knots, 103 mile day. As long as you get that magic 100, you're doing okay. And coming along here, Ayrton, 4.3, 106 mile day. So that's pretty cool. And the last, 4.3 knots. So only 9,271 miles to go. And the rest of them pretty much in a line, going all the way across. So Jasmine, 4.7 knots, 119. That's doing pretty well. They've actually caught up. They've bunched up a bit more because yesterday they were reaching out a little bit. So Eric, 4.4 knots, 117. So Jasmine's closing in. Should be happy with that. Jacob, the fleet's sort of leveled out, but Jacob's now coming north. We'll talk about that when we see the weather in a minute. But one thing to remember, when you're not running down the run line, you're wasting time going north-south, north-south. But he's now coming up through the fleet, and he wasn't feeling so well. You would have seen, he's not sure what it is. He did some snorkeling and maybe got he calls it an ear infection, but when he was snorkeling, it happened as he was going down maybe a bit deeper. He was swimming with some sharks over at Shark Island with another crazy guy here on a boat called Mechanica, if he's watching. They were having a fun time over there, and he might have stretched his eardrum or something, or whatever. He's got an ear infection, been to the doctor, and now it's playing up with his body. He's feeling a bit off and all that sort of stuff. Can't work out whether it's a bit of seasickness settling in or whatever, but that may explain he's just not doing too much work, mainly resting. He got a good sleep the night before, 7 hours, so he's doing okay. 4.7 and 111 mile day. Josh, 4.5, 115 mile day, so they're all chuffing along quite nicely. Peeler want to be up there, 118 still. That's okay. 5.2 knots. Adam going high with Kerry, 4.9, 115 mile day. That's pretty good. And we've got Kerry, 5.4, 125 mile day. So he's moving, and he may be sailing. He believes that the servo pendulum wind vane is not steering as straight a course as the hydrovane. He said that in the last leg, and he may be, trying not to be too. Oh, but anyway, they're all on. They're not running downwind. That's for sure. They're running with it on the starboard quarter. So maybe it's a tactical weather thing. We haven't heard anything yet, so we'll see how it goes. But nonetheless, he's right out there, stretching his legs. 125 mile day. Renault conveniently parked on Holiday Dan's starboard quarter, and he could just be psyching him out. He says, let him get in front and I'll just park up behind him. So he keeps pushing hard and I'll keep cooking the cakes and taking it easy and wait for Dan to make a mistake. Nonetheless, that's where it is. 5 knots and 122 mile day. And Dan, 4.9 knots, 123 mile day. So he's taken out a mile on him. during the last period, last 24 hours from now. And Mark's leading the fleet. Don't believe it. Anyway, so be it. So that's where we're sitting right now. I'll scan back and look at the forecast because that may be what's dictating what everyone's doing. Okay, so you see they're going to go up and over. Well, you can go anywhere through here, Vanuatu, but that's pretty. When we did Bounty Boat, we did it pretty much exactly the same over to, this is called Santo now, I forget. I cruised up there back in 79, 80. No, not since. Anyway, I think that's Santo, I can't remember. Anyway, they're heading in the general direction. They can go over anywhere. You can see this band of very light wind, which we saw yesterday. I'll bounce that through. So at the moment, there doesn't appear to be any real advantage to be going north of the rum line. You could be sitting on the rum line and making direct because there's no advantage right now. However, watch what happens here. So we're now pushing it through. You can see the heavier winds behind them are dropping off, and then you've got this area of very light winds, pretty much stationary, opening up and then slowly moving. So this is now coming up to day 2. Hang on, I'm just going to pull this back. I keep getting strategically confused. 1930. Okay, so I'm going to go 24 hours. So you can see what's happening. They've got a reasonably good day sailing for sure. And then in 24 hours from there, most of the fleet will have done 100 miles. So I'll just pace that out and you'll see roughly where the fleet is going to be at that weather. Come on. Go again. Oh. Okay, there's 60 miles. So it's going to be a quiet night by the look of it. Yeah, they're gonna just sail into nothing. Okay. Now these guys look as if they're sailing into more of nothing than Kerry. Kerry might be thinking he can stretch out here. He's going to be up here maybe. Let's have a look. Whereas the others are going to park. Yeah, it's going to go close, but not a lot in it. So if you can remember that, it's about halfway between, it's been 175 and 170. So about this longitude here, halfway in, that's where Kerry's going to be in 24 hours. Okay, so if we get rid of that now, so I can peg the weather, and I'll zoom it down. So just remember, Kerry's thinking maybe going over the top, but let's see what happens. The wind is, it's actually, you might be able to, because it's distorting. Yeah, you might just get over the top of that. So maybe it's a good move, because by the time we're up here, he's going to be, you might be lucky, because this may not be correct either. He could get lucky. It could be down lower the south, but certainly these guys are going to stop for a while. So that's maybe 12 hours. They're going to go slow. Kerry may just keep moving. So it could be a good move. That'll pan out by this time tomorrow. We'll be seeing where they're positioned to tackle that. But then it moves over pretty quickly, and you can see what happens here. There's lighter winds in the north, right, than there is in the south. So these guys will pick up, whilst they'll slow down, Kerry may get ahead. That little boost of wind may pick them up, but we'll have to wait and see. Better to try something not. Kerry is a great fan of trying to keep away from the pack or the leaders and hope for some opportunity. But will it work? We'll have to wait and see. Then, interestingly, if we keep going here, I'm going to pan out because I had a look at this morning. So this is where they're going, and they're about, let's see, they're from the top of Vanuatu. They're 4 days away from the top of Vanuatu, and they're going to go slow, so that's a realistic projection. And I'm just going to keep clicking this weather through. So there's the 30th. So that's 2 days ahead. So yeah, got one slow day. Then what's going to happen here? Everyone's going to slow down. It's pretty light, but there is a little bit more up north than down south again. Yeah, so that's because it's 4 days away. That's only 3 days there. So there is a stronger gradient up the top here. I'm assuming you can see my mouse. So that's still maybe a good move for Kerry. Time will tell. And then we go through to the first. Going to be very light sailing. There's not a lot of trade wind there. but there's some stuff coming out from the side here, just to see. Yeah, wow, big numbers there from in the Coral Sea. And I'm not getting the bounce here because I touched that. I've got to come back here and hit that. So there goes the second. We're just having a quick peek, and then it's going to come through. So third. So by the time they get there on the other side, it's all looking fantastic sailing. This is just to show you they've got another dream run. Once they get through Vanuatu, it's pretty good. Starting to blow up on Cape York up here. So this is the run line is showing straight up to the top there. It's not going to work like that because there's only the Barrier Reef comes down the side here along the coast of far north Queensland, and they've got to work out a way to crack through into the inside of the reef and then come up here, which we'll talk about in a minute. So that's it. Not worried about the leaderboard. It's all very self-explanatory. So I'll come back here and in fact, I'm going to go straight into the reef now before we start talking. There's not so many. I'm going to put this image on there. Okay, so I think you all know how the Barrier Reef works on the way down from Cape York. It angles across. I should have put another picture to show that. But this is generally probably going to be the area where all the boats come through, and they're going to engage the Barrier Reef, and they're going to try and get on the inside and head towards Thursday Island. This is an island called Rain Island. There's an old beacon on this island. It's not a lighthouse, but it's a pile of rocks in like a lighthouse structure. Been there for a long time. So even though it's not a lot to see on the horizon, you can actually see that. So it's a good opportunity to make a landfall. Then they've got to work out to come through one of these passes. They've got to come up here and around there, or will they come across here and break through into the reef there? And then when they're sailing in the reef, they can't really afford to go to sleep, and if they're in the reef at night time, you can't. These reefs aren't lit. You got to trust your chart plotter, or maybe even think about stopping just before dark, anchoring behind a reef, because all of these reefs are like breakwaters, and the water's very calm and flat behind it, and sleep during the night if you can't see anything, and then take off at absolute first light. But when you do that at dawn and dusk, you can't actually see through the surface of the water usually because the sun is so low. So you lose the definition of the blue and yellow. Yellow's the reef and the blue is water. So they'll have plenty of challenges coming through here, and it's been on their mind a lot. We've had different chats about it. Mark, Captain Coconut's also given them lots of advice. I've given my opinions on certain things, but I think we'll see a lot of them come through Rain Island. The other way is to go right up the top and by New Guinea and turn the corner there and come down a big shipping lane, but then you're on potentially a lee shore and it's much further distance. It'll take you 2 or 3 days extra, and they're racing. So that's likely to where it's going to go. And you can see the size of these if you look at, I hope you're getting this. I'm looking at it on this screen here. I think you're seeing the same thing. The gaps here are quite wide, and the sea state, when you've got the ocean coming out, some of these protect the ocean swells. You don't usually get huge currents. You get currents coming through, so they've got to deal with tides and things like that as well. So plenty of challenges ahead. I'll just stick another, but the next map I'm going to show you is exactly the same scale, but you can see there's some big wide gaps here where very little's happening. And even on these ones, you can sail through this entrance between Rain Island and the reefs north and south of it. And you get a bit of protection from that when you come through, and you can then get through these other passes here into the reef and start dodging all the other bits as you head up towards Thursday Island. When you close the coast, there's actually a shipping lane that's got lights on it. It's like a navigation beacons all the way up. So, but they got about 80, 90 miles of reef before they get up towards Cape York and so on. And if they arrive at night time, they probably wouldn't go in. They've got to wait. So there's lots of stories coming up there. But I'll just try this other one here. Nope, it's not that one. Go back to this one. Nope, it's not that one either. Not Rain Island. Oh, I know why. Hang on a sec. Where is it? Oh, I can't get it. Okay, I'll give up. But anyway, I just wanted to show you another one where we came through on bounty boat. It's very narrow, but we sailed through without an engine and this, that, and the other. And once you've been in reefs and sailing in reefs for a long time, you're pretty relaxed about how it all works. But if you've never seen them, it's completely fair and reasonable that they're getting a bit anxious about the idea of meeting up with the reef, but they won't be there for a couple of weeks or something. So some interesting times ahead. Anyway, that's about it for now. I just check here. Rathland, g'day, Adrian. Don't tell Peeler, but English women have beaten Spain in the Euro football final. It went to a penalty shootout. Cool. G'day, Rachel. Don, we can't see where you're suggesting the directions through the reef. Okay, hopefully you got this picture. Well, this is a large scale. I'll try and put it back in here now. Okay, there's any number of choices. Once you get in, make your landfall on Rain Island here. Okay, and then the skippers will come down here or up there, and then they've got to decide. The green is reef, right? And they'll go through. I can't zoom in on that here because it's just a photograph. And they could come round anywhere you like. I don't know whether you can see my cursor there. They'll make a plot, and then most of them put plots on their chart already. On their chart plotters, they've got waypoints, dung, 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 and they'll join the dots when they get in there and go. I just want to give you a feel for the challenges they're going to have, and it's a big thing on their mind because the majority have never been and sailed inside anything like the Barrier Reef. It's incredibly spectacular, and if you have, you'd give it a lot of respect, but you're a bit more relaxed, so they're coming in. Can't see your cursor. That's interesting. Oh boy. Okay. So anyway, take your pick. It's just miss the dots, miss the reefs, and stay in the clear water. I'll have to try and get a pointer onto that. So thanks for that, Rachel. Okay. So okay. Thanks for that. So yeah, keep an eye out for Jane's summary video at the end of the day if you're in Europe. Get that up because I've seen a couple come up already, and we'll see you all tomorrow. But so far so good. Everyone's having a great time, and yeah, that's all there is. Okay, see you later.